you, dog. Stay on for me.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Shabbat shalom. I mean, after Shabbat, you can. I wouldn't take all of them, but if you want to take a few flowers, because really, once this service is over, like it doesn't do very much. You have my permission? Okay, so you could, yeah, for sure, you could take some flowers. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And begin on page 226, 226 with Ashrei. Ashrei, Ashrei, Ve'techa, Od Yaluhu Chasela, Hashem Shach Aloho, Hashem Shonai Elohav, Tila Ledavi. Tilater nayeta berpi, Rakaba Sarshman Shrelam Baed, Banachlin Varech Yaha. Mithabit Alam, Hallelujah. Ubalat Sion Goel, Shiveshu Kalumanana, I need to. Die say die Ruch, my Shmekarash, because over I mean, come on. Baruch HaGever Yishay Takvad Adonai, Adonai Mitachaho, Bichul Adonai Dayai, Kil Adonai Tzur Lami'im, B'Bduchu B'chai Dei Shemech, HaGedos Arzer Shachanai, Anach Beisman Zikto Yagdil Tara V'Yadir. Please rise. Yikadav Yikadash, Shemei Rabba'a, V'Yamad Yochel V'Mich Machutei, V'Chayechon, V'Yamechon. Kedechal Beit Yisrael, V'Yozon Karifim, Amen.
Amen. Yehesh,
Yeshua
Ben
Barach,
Amorach.
Lam Lame Amaya. Barach Vishtabak for say, Bitadarvi Tzaloshni Kudusha Habriku, Elemakata Shirata, Shahavaknata, Nambiamaha Vimreho, Amen. Anita Pilati, Anai Raton, Murasata, Nivena, Ivin Sahara, Yomer
Kumatanai. Kimitzion. כי חובה שמיים ובארץ אחד מלך ומנסה לכל הראש רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לאדון מרגליו קדוש. I shall first. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
You may be seated, page 226.
Yes. Okay.
Vaziga leva terkosnais no karom, Yaakov in the thing of faith as my soul, the Henikas Makaramium, Amen. Hako Hagabugahinu to Akvadatra, Bakohen Kvita, Amod. Sorry, is that? Yechia HaKohen v'Yidit, Erok Shantan Tomei Sabik Dushata, O,
Vatem Batvekim Alechem,
Time Kochem Hayah, 226 again in the red book.
Vayeshev.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamborach.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai barach li'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bacha banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz mugurei aviv be'eretz Canaan לתולדות יעקב יוסף בן 17 שנה היה רואה את אחיו בצאן והוא נער את בני בלהה ואת בני זלפת נשי אביו ויבא יוסף וטיבתם רעה אל אביהם וישראל אהב את יוסף מכל בניו כי בן זקונים הוא לו ועשה לו כתונת פסים.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
יעמוד.
David ben Mordechai, Sheni.
You could take this.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch HaNemrach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayir'uhu echav ki oto ahav avihem mikol echav vayisneu oto v'yachlu dabro l'shalom v'yachalom Yosef chalom v'yagid echav v'yosifu od seno oto v'yomer alehem shimuna החלום הזה אשר חלמתי והנה אנחנו מעלמים עלומים בתוך השדה והנה כמה אלומתים וגם ניצבה והנה תסובנה אלומותיכם ותשתחוונה לאלומתי.
אמת תורתנו הקדושה, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
אמן. חזק וברוך. Yeah, stay right there. One more. Ya'amod. What's your name? Eli. And your dad's name?
What?
And your dad's Hebrew name.
Oh, I don't remember.
It's okay.
Jacob,
Yeah.
I think.
Yaakov.
Jacob, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Let me just. Yeah, sorry. Tishtachavena. Right there. Kiss it and say the bracha when you're ready.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch HaNemrach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Vayomru lo echav hamaloch timloch aleinu imashol timshol banu vayosifu od seno oto al chalomotav al devarav vaychalom od chalom acher v'yiseper oto lechav vayomer hine chalamti chalom od v'hine hashemesh vayareach ואחר 10 כוכבים משתחווים לי, ויספר אל אביו ואל אחיו, ויגר בו אביו ויאמר לו מה החלום הזה אשר חלמת, הבוא נבוא, אני ואמך ואחיך להשתחוות לך ארצה, וקנו בו אחיו ואביו שמר את הדבר. Just take it and touch right there, the word דבר.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'Kayei Olam Nata B'Tohenu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Good job.
Baruch. Eli's bar mitzvah is next week.
Stay with me.
And we hope that you all
Make sure I
will
get
join
it
us for that. Please rise. Yamod HaMabia, Yamod HaGolel. Zot HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe Lifnei Bnei Yisrael Api Adonai B'yad Moshe Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah Udvar Hashem Mirushalayim Ki Mitzion Tetzei Torah Udvar Hashem Mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. B'kedushato ki mitzion Tetzei Torah Udvar Hashem Yerushalayim. 232. Yalu Hashem Adonai, Yizgah Shema Levadaho, Ador Shemayim, V'Yarim Karen Yamaho, V'Chasida Avnei Yisrael Krovo. Hallelujah. Please rise. Ikadav Ikadaha Shemei Rabbaha ויעמד יוקצב במך מלכותי, וחייכון ויאמכון. וחי לכל בית ישראל, בגלל זמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמם מבורך לעולם לעם היח. יפרח וישבח, יפרח ונשג, וידבר צלצלש מקדושה בריחו. לילה מחרתה ושירתה, שכב נחמתה, גם בימה ויאמרו amen. Let's begin the Amidah together, 234b. After the Kedusha, the Amidah is put privately to 239. You guys gonna help me out. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanara, El Yahon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Bekoneh Hakol, Besocher Chasdei Avot, Umevi Goel Ifnei B'neihem, Laman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Ufoked Umoshia Umagin, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magin Abraham Ufoked Sarah, Ata Gibor Le'Lamanonag, Mechayim Mitim Ata Rav Lahoshia, Mashiv HaRuach Umarid HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayim Mitim B'Chamim Abim, Samech Noflim Rofei Cholim Umantir Asrim, Umekayem Natole Shenei Afar, Yichamo Chabag Baruch, Umidom Melach, Melachnim Mechayek, Masmiach Yeshua, V'ne'aman Atah L'Hachayot Meti, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mechayeh HaMeti.
Amen. נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמרו. כך כתוב היד ויח וקרא זה אל זה אמר.
נקדש את העולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמרו. כתוב ויח וקרא זה אל זה ואמר. Kadosh, 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 Adonai tzvot ma'aretz kivodo, Klimatam Baruch Yameir, Baruch Adonai Mikamo, Udrei Koshercha Katzuv Lemor, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai K'sim, Hallelujah, L'Adonai Yigod Lehecha, V'lenetzach Nitzachim Shechkan Akdish, V'shichacha Eloheinu, V'pinoi V'shilam Ba'eg, Kemal Kadosh Kadosh Atak, Baruch Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Bottom of 239. Sikaka Sedek Leolaham, Ataratcha Emek, Sikaka Lahim Avarom, Asher Sita Gidalo, Lahim Michamocha, Sikaka Korea, Mishutakatom Marbak, Lumve Mahato Shia Adonai. 247. Ikeda Vikedash Merabak.
Amen.
Delma, Tifra, Kutubimi, Kotek, the Chayakon Vimekon, Ubchay the Chol Beit Israel, Bagal Zman Karibim, Amen. Yehesh, Merabak, the Lam, Lome, Amen. Yiparach, Vishvakim Naseg, Kitadar Vitlav Taloshmi Kudusha Riku Le'ed Lamrukatav Shiratak Tushuchatavanech Hamatak Jambia Mafi Mu Amen.
Amen.
Pika bells to home but home Huitzrak Kodav Hom Dushmavi Mu Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabbi Michamaya Bachayim Alina Bakwaitrak Bimru Amen.
Amen.
O se Shalom Rumav Yes Shalom Alina Bakwaitrak Bimru Amen.
Amen.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol latekilu la leotzer brikshit shelo asanu koye haratzov velo hosamanu kumshuchot adama shelo sam chalkenu kahem vegohor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modik lefnei melech malchei hamakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shemaim v'yosenar.
Give honor to your glory. May everyone accept your dominion.
Kakatu b'tzoratach hanayim lo kli Allaham ba'ek v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu hiye Adonai echad u'shemaho echad. Mourners Kaddish. Yitz Gadal, Yitz Kadash Shemei Rabba. B'yama Divra Kirutek, B'yamich Machutek. B'chayechon, B'yamechon, U'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael. B'agala U'vizman Kari B'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach. V'yalam Ameh Ameh. Yiparach V'yishtevach. V'yipa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnasek. V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalak. Shemei Kedusha B'richu Le'ela Minko Birchata V'shiratak Tush B'chata V'nechamatak Damiran B'yama B'imru Amen. Yehei Shlam Arab Amin Shem V'chayim Aleinu V'yako Yitzrek B'imru Amen. Aseh Shalom B'imru Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu V'yako Yitzrek B'imru Amen. You may be seated. We're going to do our 7 minutes of learning, 7 minutes of song. Of course, B'diuk exactly on those times. And really been actually a beautiful Shabbat with Yela Lachmish here last night and this morning. And plug that if you are available to go over to Beth El for 7:30 tonight, you get to hear her one more time. She is on Spotify, Yela Lachmish. A few things more on Facebook, but actually she says that Spotify is the place to Google her and or search her to get her music and really just to hear the beautiful voice. And people know that I'm also sort of a little bit of a history buff, and I just sort of love Judaism. I wonder why I'm in this business. And so she said two things that really spoke to me, and I mentioned them to her today. One, a little bit, not my topic, is that by bringing together all these rich tunes and traditions, and obviously also words of prayer, that if you come to Kehilat Zion, where she is the Paitanit, their term for a song leader, someone who's basically sort of leading us in the ritual poetry and the ritual song of the tefillah, of the prayer, that sometimes you're going to feel very comfortable. You're going to be feeling as if your grandparents are right next to you. That was her Rabbi Applebaum's words. And sometimes you're going to feel uncomfortable or feel like I'm experiencing something new. And it's as if perhaps, God willing, your children or grandchildren that you want them to have new memories are creating. So you have sort of the linking of the various generations, the old, the traditional, and really sort of the new experience, which is what we need for both. We need for a real fruitful, meaningful experience. If it's all just old, then we can get bored and stale. And the rabbis work very hard to say, you cannot let your tefillah be stale. However, and so you need new things. However, if it's all new, then the discomfort will prevent you from sort of getting to the next level, I would say, sort of feeling comfortable in your prayer and feeling spiritual. If it's all new, then you feel more like a spectator than a participant. A plug actually for our adult B'nai Mitzvah group, where really the purpose of it is to help people who feel a little bit more of a spectator in tefillah to really be a participant. So that's something that resonated with me. And another piece that she brought up is that Kihilat Zion, which is the congregation in Jerusalem, is really trying to be what's called Minhag Eretz Yisrael, to really sort of recognize that living in the land of Israel brings its own customs, its own rite, R-I-T-E, just like we have the Ashkenazi rite, the Sephardic, the Mizrahi, and all sorts of things like that. And she mentions that it's clear now from history, from our research, that the way that the Jews who lived in Eretz Yisrael in the early Middle Ages, you would want to call it the end of the ancient period, I would say sort of putting a century mark on it, the 3rd through the 6th centuries. That is the way that the Jews prayed in Israel is not the way that the Jews in Babylonia prayed in 600, 700, 800s and beyond. And that what we've inherited is the Babylonian tradition, just a fact, but there was also this very rich Israeli tradition that was lost for a while, and this is where my history buff comes in, until we discovered the Cairo Geniza. When we discovered the Cairo Geniza, which then Solomon Schechter, who's big in the conservative movement, became one of the pronounced scholars at Cambridge University to go through the treasure trove of these Jewish documents that literally spanned a millennia, just hidden in a synagogue in Fustat, Egypt, near Cairo. The amount of things that were there. Just mundane from rental contracts and other things like that, but also prayers. And it was really discovered that the way that they prayed was a much more fluid prayer. And it's the word paitan, religious poet. One of the most known, but we don't know much about him, of religious poets lived in Israel in this exact time period. Yanai, we just know his name is Yanai. And so much actually of our machzor, where they're really the only time that those religious poems remain the most. There's fragments in our regular prayer book, which we could spend another time unpacking, but there's also in the high holidays when those poems were put in. But it seems that they would pray those poems every week, and it would change from week to week to week. As Yala mentioned, if there was a wedding that week, they would find a poem or verses that would speak to the couple. If they, or there was a bat mitzvah, whatever the moment was, that's what spoke to them. Obviously, if there was a holiday in the calendar coming up, it was very different. Why did the Babylonian tradition come the way that it did? Probably mostly out of practicality. We know that the earliest Babylonian Sidurim from we call the Geonim, sort of these leaders of the time in Babylonia, the Sidur Rab, Amram Gaon, Sadia Gaon, were people, Jews in far-flung areas who still saw Babylonia as their center, would literally write them letters and say, we are here in Spain. Okay, that's the biggest example. We have made our way following mostly with the Muslim conquest over here to Spain. And we're not the most knowledgeable Jews. So what do we pray? And so the Geonim had to write something down to guide these Jews. And so they would send a manuscript of the prayers that they should say, I guess sort of a minimum, a guideline, whatever it is, and that was written down. And so the synagogue in wherever Spain, Seville, wherever you are, would then start to pray that. And someone would then write down on a new manuscript. The printing press wasn't there yet. And it would just kind of get repeated and repeated. Of course, there were few changes. Someone would find another prayer, or they would come from Italy and bring other things. There certainly was changes, but it was still quite static. And then, of course, the printing press. The printing press, wonderful invention, wonderful ability that we can now all have copies in our hand. The only problem is now it's printed. And if it's printed in the book and a clergy person, a paitan, says, I don't really feel like this today, I want to say something else, someone might say in the back, no, you didn't do page 140. Why not? Why didn't you do page 140? And so there was this feeling of that if it was printed, you must do it. And then that gets to that sort of the comfortability versus the familiarity versus the new. Today, Yala at the end of the Amidah said, I honestly have never seen it printed, but this sort of extended Sim Shalom prayer. And I happened to be in the back, and people were looking at me, Rabbi, well, what is she saying? Now, granted, it was also in Hebrew, and people didn't know it, and I luckily, know Hebrew that I was able to explain, and Rabbi Stecker afterwards as well, for everyone who was present and couldn't go and say, Rabbi Schweber, what is she saying, to explain it. But it was also nice to sort of say, oh, I'm hearing something fresh that's not just printed in the book, something that's new and focuses my attention. So I really liked what she brought, what Kihilat Zion, of this tension, this healthy tension of the familiar and the new. And I know that Chazan Shamash, with our help, is going to continue, I hope, in that mode of doing the familiar and the new. And sometimes it is okay to maybe insert 140 page A and not do page 140. Shabbat Shalom. So 5 minutes of song, no challenges. So I didn't know that she wrote it.
But what made it seem like it was from somewhere is that there were quotations from certain pieces.
Yes.
Right, like Bialik. So she put it together, and then it had some of her own texts and then interpolations.
Right. Okay, so even more so, I thought here she was sharing an ancient piece of
It was an original.
Moroccan or whatever.
It's hers.
But it's literally modern 21st century tefillah that she wrote in the same mode that the ancient Paitanim would write, which was to be inspired by Tehillim, by verses in the Tanakh, and then also to just use the repertoire of various prayers and things that we're asking for, Reva, Chatzalo, whatever it is, sort of, abundance and success, she was able to do. So it was very beautiful.
So now just building on the theme of peace and also melodic interpolation, let's go to page 329. You'll see from the Tehillim, may you live to see children's children and Israel at peace. Just such a simple prayer for peace. Urevanim levanecha, shalom al Yisrael. Urevanim levanecha, shalom al Yisrael. 329. Urevanim levanecha, shalom al Yisrael. Urevanim levanecha, shalom al Yisrael. Yevarechecha Hashem mitzion, urebtiv Yerushalayim. Yevarechecha Hashem mitzion, kol yemei yemechayecha. Urevanim levanecha, shalom al Yisrael. Urevanim levanecha, shalom al Yisrael. Urevanim levanecha, Shalom Yisrael. And turning back to page 326, early in the morning, if you were here, we included Hodu Ladonai Kitov Ki Leolam Chasto as part of the Pesukei de Zimra, and you might say, "Oh, I recognize that melody." So that's where using the familiar of Mipi'eh Yivorach Yisrael Mipi'eh Ki Leolam Chasto. So there she used that motif, which is familiar to many of us by now. Let's just do a verse, and we could see how we could use something that might be, let's say, even 500 years old, and then renew a prayer and then make it familiar, and even a prayer that we've been tending to skip, that we can bring other Tehillim back, or highlight certain tefillot on certain Shabbatot, and this way we increase our vocabulary and increase the renewal, and also increase the messages that we're sending between ourselves and Hashem. Mipi'eh Yivorach Yisrael Mipi'eh Yivorach Yisrael En Nadir Kadonai En Baruch Kevin Amiram En Gedulat HaTorah En Dorsheh Yisrael Mipi'eh Yivorach Yisrael Mipi'eh Yivorach Yisrael.
Beautiful. The arises were able 281 for the Baruch Hu.
And we're happy to invite anyone who'd like to help to lead the service, especially Eli, if you'll come and stand, that's how you practice. That would be great. Or Ethan, if you'll help to sing the Shema. Maya, of course, sing from there if you want. והוא רחום יכבר רבם ולא ישחית, והרבה להשיב אפו, ולא יהיה חוכמתו. אדוני הושיע המלך יעננו, ויום קורנו. ברכו את אדוני מבורך.
ברוך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני מבורך, לעולם ועד.
May be seated. ברוך אדוני מלך העולם אשר ביום ולילה כל
וחי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת. אהבתך תשים ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובחומך וקשרתם לאות עייתך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. ואנחנו זאת שקיים עלינו כי הוא אדוני עלינו. וראו בניו גבורתו שיבחו והודו לשמו ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם. משה ומרים בני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך בעדים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נוראתי לו עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני כישראל.
Amen. Hashkivenu Eloheinu. Help us to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace and guide us with your good counsel.
כי יש שומר מצילנו אתה, כי הם מלך חנון ורחום אתה, ושמור צאתנו בואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, שומר עמו ישראל.
Please rise.
יתקרא ויתקרא שמי רבה.
Amen.
ואמרתי ברכרותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ובמכון נפחד לכל בית ישראל. לגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen.
יש מרבה מברך לעולם ולעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרום ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה בריחו לעילה מנכו בחטא ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמה ואמרו
Amen. The Amidah said privately 286 to 291. We do the larger paragraph for the end of Shabbat on top of 287.
עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
Continue on page 292. You may be seated.
יתקרב יתרשם רבה,
אמן.
ולמה דברך רותי ואמליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחייך בית ישראל, הגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן.
יהי שמו מבורך לעולם לעמיה.
לעולם לעמיה, יפרח וישתבח ויתפר, ויתפר ויתעשה, ויתעדה ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי לקודשה,
בריחו.
לעילה מקומך ושירתה, תשחטה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. מינו אמר אדוני עלינו, ומעשה ידינו כוננהו. אורך ימים משביעהו, והריהו בישועתי. אורך ימים משביעהו, והריהו בישועתי. אתה קדוש יוסף תהילות ישראל, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אחרי כל רעש גדול, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אדוני צבאות, אשרי אדם בוטח בך, אדוני הושע, המלך יעננו ויום קורנו, ברוך כבודנו. ויפתחו בך יודעי שמך, כי לא עזבת דורשך אדוני, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיר תורה וידיר. יתקדש שמי רבה, תלמד דברה חירותי ומתמחותי, בחייכון ובמכון, ובחייך בית ישראל, בגלה בזמן קריב, ואמרו
אמן.
יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם לעמיה. יפרח וישתבח ויתפר, ויתרום ותעשה, ויתעדה ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי לקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כה בחדה ושירתה, תשפטה ונחמתה דמירן ועמה, ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלות רבתון, תוכו ישראל קודם אבון ושמיה, ואמרו אמן. יש שלם רב בשמיה וחיים על כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, ותקנו לה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו קויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. השמיים ממעל, על הארץ מתחת אין עוד. כך כתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Mourners Kaddish. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabak. V'alma divra kirutei v'yamich machutek. V'chayechon v'yamechon u'chayei techol beit Yisrael. V'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam lamei amen. Yiparach, V'yishtabach, Yipa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnasek, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalach, Shemei Dekudusha, Brichu, Le'ela, Min Kol, V'chata, V'shirata, Tush V'chata, V'nechamatak, Damiran, V'yama, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shema V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Aseh Shalom V'imru Uya Aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Abdallah, please, if you're here, come forward and make a nice little circle as we usher in the new week.
That's okay. That's how it helped me to get the position, probably. Nowadays. I know. It's so cute. Would someone like the honor of holding the cup and someone else to hold the spices? Do you want? If anyone, yeah, you can hold the cup, and someone else want to hold the spices if you want. Nice honor. Oh, yeah. It's heavy for you. So we're on page 299. Hine Yeshuati Eftach V'lo Echad Ki ozi v'zimratya Adonai v'yehi li lishua V'shavte mayim b'sason Mimayne ha'yeshua L'Adonai Yeshua alamecha B'chatecha sela Adonai tzivaot imanu V'skam lanu Elohei Yaakov sela Adonai tzivaot ashrei adam Boteach bach Adonai Hoshia melech yanenu V'yom korenu ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה וששון ויקר כן תהיה לנו ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה וששון ויקר כן תהיה לנו כוס ישועות עצה ובשם אדוני אקרא סברי חבריי ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם Ore peri hagafen. Don't drink yet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Bore mine v'samim. La 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei meorei ha'esh Borei meorei ha'esh La 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol ben or lechoshech Ben Yisrael Amim ben Yom HaShvi'i L'sheshet Yemei HaMatzeh Baruch I'll drink. La 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 la. המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חטאותינו ימחו, זרענו וחסדנו יברכו, לך כוכבים בלילה. שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב. שבוע טוב, שבוע טוב, אליהו הנביא, אליהו התשבי, אליהו, אליהו, אליהו הגלעדי, במהרה בימינו יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד, עם משיח בן דוד. Are you willing to wear this? אליהו, אליהו, בזכות אליהו, הנביא הבן, אליהו, בזכות אליהו, הנביא הבן, אוי תמריך עונה בשבי, לא תחביב, תחזור השם, אליהו, אליהו, בזכות אליהו, הנביא הבן, אליהו, בזכות אליהו, הנביא הבן, המולך לגואל, לפני דרשו, אברהם אברנה, אליהו, אליהו, בזכות אליהו, הנביא הבן.
Shavua Tov, everybody. Hope you really had a beautiful, restful Shabbat. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Have a good night.
Yeah, this is more comfortable.
We're going to stay in practice.
If we do it like this, is that more comfortable? Here, now have a good posture. Be tall, 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 big chest out. Now try it. Here, let's try something else. המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חסדותינו ימחול. You can watch the hand. זרענו וחסדנו יביא בכוחו, לך כוכבים בלילה. Hit through. זרענו וחסדנו. You kind of breathe down. See.